Hey everyone.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday.
I'm having my coffee beans, pardon me. Chocolate covered coffee beans. Welcome to another PSS live stream Saturday. We're really excited to be here today. We had so much fun last week and the week before. This is our third week now doing this, and we're going to continue doing this for a while. At least the next 3 months, 6 months. We're kind of checking out how you guys like it. And if it's valuable to you, and if you find it valuable, then we're just going to keep doing it.
And it's because we miss you so freaking much.
Hey, what's up, Miss Gary? Everyone else who's here, say hi. Tell us where you're tuning in from.
Hello, beautiful people.
So today, we are going to try to see if we can get the super chat feature working and test it out here. Do you want to test that out? And I'll introduce what we're talking about in our live stream today. We're talking about at the Pod Sound School, our most used tools for the content creation process and podcasting. Now, there's a ton of really great tools that, the list just goes on and on. There's so many cool apps on the phone that you can use to create fun content. But we're just really going to be sharing our favorites, the ones that we use ourselves and the ones that we know that our editors use and that also our clients are using, and the ones that we just find ourselves using like every day as part of our content creation process. I think a lot of these are sort of must-haves for content creators. So with that, let's just get right to it. Let me see if I
just did.
Oh, look, it works.
So people, we are so excited for this feature. This is the first time that we're using it on our YouTube channel. And since we had our YouTube channel, which it's been 2.5 years. So I know that there's a lot of you who want to support the Pod Sound School and have no idea how. And we've been like debating, what do we do? Well, this is your opportunity if you want to support us, if you want to support our work. We know that without you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have the reach that we have. We wouldn't have the motivation that gets us out of bed and into all this project and into creating all this content for you. We, from the bottom of our hearts, we want to say thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Let's enjoy our lives.
Yeah, let's enjoy it.
And our lives and our lives.
Yeah, the lives, plural of the live streams.
The live streams.
Hey, what's up, Soul Toucher, the poet?
Hello.
How's it going? Hey to everyone. So do you want to just get right to the first tool?
Yes.
So typically how we're doing this is we kind of put together some presentational material. We put together some bullet points that will really help you level up your content for the week. We want to share things that are insightful. If you have, pardon me, if it's those chocolate covered coffee beans, if you have any,
another one to see if I get the same reaction.
If you have any ideas for future live streams, things that you struggle with that you'd want us to cover, let us know about that. Also, if you have any questions throughout the live stream, drop them there. We'll try our best to answer them.
We'll stop periodically
to answer questions. And then, of course, the super chat that Veronica mentioned, that stays highlighted at the top, and we see it here in Streamyard. So we'll get to your question very quickly and prioritize your question in that case.
Do you guys like my 80s look?
Is it? Yeah, I should have gone for
80s or 90s.
I think it's more 90s with that thing in your hair. You just need a scrunchie.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was 12, I used to like wear my. Did you watch Alf?
I did watch Alf.
So I used to like wear my.
Did you want to look like you wanted to look like Alf?
Yeah, it was very popular in my country. Like you put a lot of.
But I wouldn't.
Vaseline.
Oh God. I wouldn't say that Alf.
And then and I have pimples and the Vaseline. Anyway.
Oh no.
So.
I had the bad pimples too, and I would wear my bangs over them to cover them, and it was just, don't bring me back to those
you're
times.
Not here to listen to our debacles.
No, and now that we've been through the therapy session of Veronica's traumatic childhood,
we are going to talk about all the different tools, like Steven said, that we use for efficiency. Efficiency is something that comes up every single week. People are asking us, like, how do you make so much content? Like, how do you show up on different platforms? And how do you manage to do that while running a business, while having a family and all that? Yeah. And it all comes down to time management, which we are learning how to do. And also with the efficiency and the tools that you use to minimize the time that you spend doing certain tasks.
Yeah. So the first one, and actually it's two that we lump together, are kind of scheduling tools. And it's the Facebook Creator Studio and Tweet Composer. So the Tweet Composer, when I don't know how I was introduced to it, but I was going to see if I could actually show it to you guys right now. Now that we're in North Carolina, I'm trying to transition to saying y'all. And I actually think it's more like politically correct, like a better way to refer to a group of people. Because, you know, you guys is sexist, right? Okay, anyway, let me see if I can share the screen here. And I think I can go to a Chrome tab of Twitter. Yes. So here in Twitter, this is just my homepage in Twitter. Along the left here, and let's see, I could probably even do that. Oh, no, that's not good. Oh, no, what did I do? Hold on, let's go back. Along the left here, and I zoomed in a little too much. You have your home, you have Explore, notifications, messages. If you go to the More tab and click on that, you have this that says Twitter ads. And so it's just kind of like weird that you would even get to this from Twitter ads. But if you click on Twitter ads, it brings you to this. And this is actually where you can set up your ads. You can set up all sorts of stuff if you actually want to run ads on Twitter. We ran a few ads on Twitter years ago, and it was just a complete waste of money. It was like burning through money very quick. You got to be weary with running ads, but this has nothing to do with running ads. So what you do is you come to creatives here at the top, and from creatives of the drop down menu, you see this Tweet Composer. And I love this. If you go to Tweet Composer, you can actually compose your tweets. You can upload a photo or a video. So let's say I wanted to upload a photo. I can add media. I can add, I think I have the picture I just used for this live stream, for example. So I could add that, right? And then I can, after the media has been added, I can come here and say, we're live right now. Come join us. But what I really love about this feature is you can choose that it's a card type. So if you see over here to the right, see how it looks like a card? So it's actually going to put your photo or your video or anything inside this card. And then it gives you the opportunity to add a card name. I usually just put like anything because that's sort of for you, but it gives you an opportunity to add a headline. Now that we've added the media. Oh, I don't know why the media didn't add. Let me try that one more time. Here we go. Upload media. Oh, save right there. Boom. So you actually have to press the save button. So now I have the media, and now you can actually write a headline. So as you know, on Twitter, we're limited to the amount of characters that we can use. So this gives you more characters you can use because you can use a headline. So here we could actually say we're live. Come join us, or PSS live, y'all. See how I'm working that in? And then the website, we could actually go to YouTube and get and I'll do that real quick. Go to YouTube and get the URL. Or in this case, in your case, if you wanted to, you could get the URL for your podcast episode, like the exact episode, and then you can share it. Let me just say share here.
So just out of curiosity, how many of you guys are on Twitter?
Yeah, how many of you guys are on Twitter? How many of y'all are on Twitter, and what what are you using for that? So now back here again, I'm going to put this URL of the live stream that you're in right now. And here, this is the important thing. I like to uncheck this promoted only box here. And that's it. So now I have this really cool tweet.
Can you schedule it?
Yes, you can. So you can either say tweet right here, or from the down arrow here, you can say schedule. And so what you
can schedule as many tweets as you want.
You can schedule as many as you want. So what you could do is like maybe the first Monday of every month, you go through and you think of some clever little tweets that you can write. Twitter things that perform really well on Twitter are like short questions. So instead of saying, hey, episode 22 is out right now and it's about unclogging your bathroom sink pipes, come check it out. Instead, you should be like, don't you hate it when your pipes get clogged? Or my pipes just backed up, help me. Or what's your worst plumbing debacle, right? Those kind of conversation starters usually work a little better on Twitter. So you could schedule a bunch of those to go out, do all of your tweeting for the whole month in a few hours on Monday using the Tweet Composer. And that's why we love this. So I'm just going to say tweet here. And then it says tweet was successful. View the tweet. Then here we are on Twitter. And that just went out. If I wanted to, I can pin that tweet to the top of the profile. And now maybe some people on Twitter will come join our live, which is awesome. So I'm going to stop sharing that and get back here.
So you may be wondering why this is a very useful tool. Well, it's because you can, before you do your podcast releases, your podcast episode releases, you can schedule the tweets for the week to get more engagement, or after you have posted your episode. The only thing that you need to do is to just be on the platform once in a while and interact with the tweets and reply to comments and things like that and retweet. I'm not very familiar with Twitter.
No, I'm the Twitter guy.
I'm surprised that Twitter is still a thing.
Twitter lasts. Like, Twitter's always going to be a thing, you know? But the thing that's cool about Twitter is that's all, like, a good chunk of podcasters are there. And you can always find a podcast family, especially in any type of niche that you're in. So if you're not on Twitter, it's a really good place to mingle with other podcasters, even if it's not where your ideal listener is hanging out.
Okay. And before we go to the Creator Studio, I don't know if you can access Creator Studio, but I just want to read a few comments here. Okay. Denise, hi guys. We'll look later in the recording with subtitles and translation since I do not know English well. Have a nice evening and more subscribers. Denise, what's your first language? I'm interested in knowing that.
If you're still here. Miss Gary.
Miss Gary, thanks to you. I have created the podcast for my university, one out every 2 weeks or so. Thank you very much. Love it.
That's so cool.
How cool. Where are you at? In the world.
And then we have
part of the world.
We have Anna again. Hey Anna, you were here last week too. How's it going? Try to do the Facebook podcast thing. I saw Veronica's video this morning. So helpful. Awesome. Yeah, that Facebook podcast thing is really cool. One thing that has been confusing people with it though is you do have to. You can't do it on a personal Facebook page, right?
Yes. No.
Yeah. So the Facebook podcast thing is. Facebook is now a podcast player. And so if you have a business page, which you've probably already encountered because you can't actually make a page called the name of your podcast, you have to make a business page under the wing of your personal Facebook page. So if you haven't already made a business page for your podcast, you could do that under the wing of your personal Facebook page, if I'm saying that right. Under the umbrella. Then you can embed, not only embed, but just put your podcast there. And so every time you upload an episode to your podcast host, it updates to Facebook. And Veronica made a little shorts video about it.
I did. And you can use it using the Facebook app on your phone, or you can use it from your web browser too. You can set it all up.
And Krisha, if I'm pronouncing that right, says, I'm looking forward to your thoughts on Facebook Creator Studio. Keep being a valuable resource for this industry. Love it. So I can pull up Facebook Creator Studio.
Facebook Creator Studio. You used to pay later to schedule our content for Instagram.
Yeah, and Later, if you haven't heard of it, is a content scheduling program.
It's a scheduling tool. And I mean, they're more than that. They're a very cool company. And if you are on Instagram, I think you should check out Later because they have an amazing blog with a lot of good information.
Oh yeah, really cool information
for content creators on Instagram. But let's see if you can log in. So the Creator Studio is basically, it replaced what Later was doing for us, which is to schedule posts. And now you can schedule videos for both Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
And you have to log into
yours
Facebook.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that on here. I haven't logged into it before.
Just do Facebook.
Facebook Creator Studio?
No, just Facebook.
Just Facebook. So I am not the Facebook guy at all. I got on the Facebook finally and then changed my phone number. Or no, we got rid of our son's phone number, which was the phone number I had to use. And then now I'm not on Facebook anymore. I can't even get on there or access it anymore. Account. Okay, that's why I log out. Well, I'll let Veronica see if she can log into the Facebook Creator Studio, but Facebook Creator Studio is really cool, similar to that tweet composer that you saw. And it allows you to schedule in advance and create in advance your Instagram posts. So even more for a Facebook tool, and it's great for a Facebook tool, it's really cool for an Instagram tool. And unfortunately, I think for later, we don't pay later anymore, and we don't use later anymore.
No, we don't. Can we log into Pod Sound School?
From here, I'm not sure. I'm telling you, I have troubles here on my computer with Facebook.
Then I'm going to have to describe it to you here from my computer.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to show you the screen recording or the screenshot of Facebook Creator Studio.
The way I access Creator Studio is that I go to Facebook and then I sign up into my personal account on Facebook, and from my personal account, then I can see on my left-hand side the menu on Facebook.
And one of the first things you see is Creator Studio.
One of the things that you see is Creator Studio. And then this is one of the things, of the reasons why it's so important to have a Facebook page attached to your personal account, because you can only do this for your Facebook page. You can't do it for your personal Facebook account. So if you go to Creator Studio, then it's going to take you to a screen. And the screen is pretty cool because at the top, then you have the two options. I want to post on Facebook or I want to post on Instagram.
Yep.
And if I click on Instagram, then on the upper left hand, you have the create post, and you can create, you can upload images or pictures, or you can also upload IGTV videos. So let's say I want to upload an image, then you can write your captions. You don't have to write your captions using your phone anymore. You can just go to Creator Studio and upload your captions here, or type your captions into the caption field and add a location, which I always recommend because you want to be accessible for those who are searching for your content locally. And then you add your content, which in this case can be a picture, but also you can upload video for IGTV.
Yeah.
And
you could upload videos for Instagram posts too. So it's weird to think, wait a minute, I'm going to do all my Instagramming on Facebook, but it's really cool. Specifically, what's cool about it though is the cascades.
Yes.
That's the big game changer. And that's probably the big reason that we don't use later anymore. And it's because if you know what an Instagram cascade is, it's really good stuff for your Instagram posting because they're shareable graphics. And so it's just where you can, at the post, you can keep swiping to the left or to the right or whatever way it is. And you go through a cascade of posts. So like an example of that, like what's one of your examples, like of a good cascade shareable?
So for example, shareable cascade for us was the biggest reasons why people don't get into podcasting, and how to address those, or how to just get rid of all of those and start podcasting. So that's your main title. And then the next one will address the first one, which would be, oh, I need a lot of money to start a podcast. And then that's a myth. Then we say, no, you don't need a lot of money or expensive equipment to start a podcast. Then number two, oh, I'm not very good at talking into the microphone. I get insecure and things like that. Well, then you do things, you share content that people want to save and to share within Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah, and it works really well for cascades.
Tip number 1, tip number 2, tip number 3. So think about that first image as the cover of a book, and then you elaborate with your other post within the cascade.
Yeah, and you can have 10
or your table of contents.
And you can have 10 photos, right, in the cascade. And then it's really cool. And Krisha here says that she uses Facebook Creator Studio too, but the thing is that recently, as she's uploading multiple pictures, it doesn't display the images in the right order, which is annoying.
That is weird.
That is weird. We haven't had that problem yet.
No, we haven't.
But it has been a minute since we've done a cascade. But yeah, so you're just gonna have to check it out.
I'm gonna try it because we are releasing a video tomorrow, and I'm promoting that video. So I'm gonna try it, and I'll get back to you with that one. And also, it's kind of a bummer that we can't show you Facebook from Steven's computer. Because it's my account and I manage Facebook and Instagram. He doesn't have it on his computer.
Yes.
But I think I should make a short for
For Facebook Creator Studio,
Facebook Creator Studio, showing people inside Facebook Creator Studio and why. And the good part, amigos, is free.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pay.
And we do have a video that you can find that's all about it's not the toolkit. In the toolkit, we talk about it too. We have a podcaster's toolkit video that you can find on our channel that's covers some of the tools we're talking about here. But we also have one where I actually create a cascade, and we use Facebook Creator Studio to do it all too. So you can check that out as well too.
So this is pretty cool because like every time we're going to release a video, well, sometimes we don't do it because we run out of time and we're rushing things a little bit. But when we get our video edited and ready to go the day before, then what we do is that we capture little clips from the video, and I schedule those to go out at the same time that the video will be published.
Yeah.
That way I can leverage those followers and our audience on Instagram. And also I do the same for Facebook. And you don't have to worry about being on your computer to get the promotion going and to get those things posted.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And yeah, I don't think like it's going to be totally helpful to just speak through this. You kind of just have to get in there to Creator Studio and check it out to see what it looks like. And it's pretty intuitive.
And sometimes like there's glitches like that. Like, the images don't get posted in order. And what I've done in the past is that I just completely log out of Facebook and then I log back in, and that way I can just fix those little things.
Yeah.
You may want to try that and see if it works.
Yeah.
But I'll check that out for you.
And then Pat says, when you say cascade, is it the same as a carousel post? Yeah, it's maybe that's actually what you call it. You probably call it a carousel post, not a cascade.
Yes.
But
educate yourself.
Sorry. So now let's move on to the next tool.
Educate.
Do you see any questions that you might want to answer before we move on to the next?
Educate.
Is that educate?
See.
Educate? That's not educate.
Educate.
Hey, what's going on from India? I love this. Hey, thanks a lot. Never call me again. Awesome short this week on Facebook. Yeah, and so she's going to put another short out sometime this coming week. It sounds like about Facebook Creator Studio.
Yes.
I stumbled and found Creator Studio. I'm loving it. Having troubles connecting with Instagram, but still loving it. Yeah, it can be a little struggle to get Instagram to connect to Facebook the right way. But yeah, so let's move on to the next tool.
Hold on. I use Facebook Creator Studio too, but the thing is that recently, loading multiple pictures. Oh, okay.
Yep.
And this one, the only thing I really dislike about Anchor is when you have them connect to Apple Podcasts. You don't have access to the analytics.
Things may have
changed since then.
Yeah, that's actually cool. Sort of comment, and I think he's responding to somebody in the chat as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's a cool comment because they do connect you automatically to Apple, which is interesting. You wouldn't think Apple and Spotify would even be in communication that way. But what you have to do is with Anchor, you have to log into Anchor on a browser, on a computer. You can even use the browser on your phone too, but instead of going to the Anchor app, actually go to like Google Chrome on a browser. Go to the settings wheel. From the settings wheel, there's something that's like show information or podcast info or something like that to that, and it says RSS feed, RSS link. You have to get that RSS link, and then you actually have to set up your own account with Apple. Only takes a few minutes, and then share your RSS link with them and actually set up your podcast with Apple directly. And then that's fine. And they can take the RSS feed from Anchor, and then you could be logged into Apple to get those analytics, because Apple's analytics are awesome. They're like the best analytics, and same with Spotify's analytics. So if people are actually listening to your podcast on Apple, those analytics are way better than what they are on. Yeah. Okay, cool. So
we love our Anchor people.
We do, and we love Anchor a lot.
And I've been thinking about releasing an Anchor video, how to podcast on your phone in Spanish.
Yeah, Veronica going to be. We're kind of considering like Veronica has the Spanish element, so like should we just do like Pod Sound School Espanol, like a separate channel, or a separate playlist? So it's something that's been in development for a long time.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of you out there who have been asking me to create content in Spanish. We're just trying to figure it out, like how
The best way to do it.
Best way to do it, yeah.
Okay, so the next tool on the list is Descript. And Descript is really fun. When we were really doing a lot of the editing ourselves, we were using Descript all the time, and our podcast editors use it. For some of our clients, they use it. For some, they don't. But it's really cool for editing. You can edit your podcast like you would a Word doc, and they're constantly updating, like maybe updating too much updating.
It's hard to keep up.
It's hard to keep up. You always have to update. You always have to download the new version of Descript, like every day. They just updated it with like a parametric EQ, which sounds fancy, but they're really trying to be an all-in-one solution where you can completely edit your podcast in Descript. But as things are right now with Descript, I prefer to take what you do in Descript and then send it to another place to edit. But Descript's really cool, and what we use it for every week all the time is transcripts. So if you do a podcast episode and it's unscripted, you can actually run it through Descript, and in a matter of minutes it gets a very accurate transcript, and then you can fix all the words that maybe it picks up wrong. As you can imagine, it picks up a lot of wrong because words are wrong.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
It hates me.
Ooh. But Descript also has a bunch of other features. You can also edit video in Descript like you would a Word document. So it's really cool. And if you have multiple speakers in your podcast episode, it will detect those multiple speakers, and you can give them a name, and it looks like a screenplay the way it comes out.
Yeah.
So
we also tried the overdub feature.
Oh yeah, and we did a video here on our channel where we tried the overdub feature. That's for Descript. I think it's called Descript Pro or Premium subscribers or members. So which is like $30 a month or something. Can be a little steep for some people, but it allows you to actually overdub your voice and create a robot clone version of your voice that you can actually. So if you're editing your podcast and you forgot a word, or you want to say something, or you just want to replace a word here and there, you can actually just type that word in and it will be in your voice, which is insane. And we tried it out and had a lot of fun with it. And they actually just did an improvement to overdub as well too. So Descript is a big one.
Yeah, so check it out. And it's super important that one of the things that I love about that is that I know that there's a lot of you who are not scripting your episodes and are running interview style podcast. This is so good to have, because it saves you time when you are writing the show notes. If for some reason, if you are smart and have a website with a blog that you post blog articles about your episodes, then you can just get the transcript and clean it up and add some headings and organize information in a way that it's article style, and then you post it on your blog. So it can save you a lot of time.
And you can also just use it as a transcript, which many of the podcast hosts now allow you to upload a transcript in addition to your episode, and that supposedly helps with SEO. And I think it does help with SEO because it puts that text somewhere. And the Google robots that crawl the internet for information are
Google minions.
Yes, the minions. They're looking for
the Oompa Loompas.
The Oompa Loompas. But are they the old Oompa Loompas with various variations? And
No, it's the Latino.
No, I don't like that. Why do they clone the same guy? There was like 1,000 of that same guy.
Colombian Oompa Loompas.
I'm sorry, I'm an OG Willy Wonka guy, or Willy Wonka fan, because the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka, his outburst that he has when he's going through that tunnel and he's like, and the children are screaming, is like, I'm sorry, I love Johnny Depp, but he couldn't touch it. How do you guys feel about the 2 Willy Wonka movies? And do any of you use Descript? Do you have anything to say about Descript? So Descript's a really cool program.
Let us know.
And now the next one on the
should we see the comments?
Well, Anna says, question. So I'm creating my brand, but I actually started my podcast before I started my business. The topics are related, but the name of my podcast is not related to my brand.
So is it not related to the brand at all? Or maybe just a little bit?
Yeah, like how is it not related? And you're probably looking for ways that you can sort of tie your podcast into your brand.
I would say that if there's a link, if there's a relationship, then you can slowly start introducing your brand to your listeners and slowly start making changes on your cover art and on the content that you cover in the podcast.
Yeah, and
if there's a link,
and sometimes
if
you
it's
can
totally different, then
sometimes you can bring the name of your business into your podcast name too. So like, let's say like last week, and I just keep using this plumbing thing as an example, but let's say It's Gonna Get Hairy is the name of my podcast. And let's say later on, Harry and I, my brother, who do a plumbing podcast, we start a business, and the business is like the Davis Brothers podcast, or the Davis Brothers Plumbing. Well, then the name of the podcast can change to It's Gonna Get Hairy by the Davis Brothers Plumbing. You know, and so you can start to brand your podcast with the name of your business.
Yeah. Or you can do it the other way too, which I don't remember the podcast for Sephora or for Trader Joe's. I want to listen to the podcast for Trader Joe's, but I think the podcast for Sephora was called Beauty Insider.
Really cool podcast.
Or something like that. But you knew that it was by Sephora because in the cover art, they used the same colors and they would add to the title by Sephora.
Yeah.
So you can do that too. You can use a different title as long as you add something that attaches to your brand. And also that you're using your podcast to educate your potential customers or people you want to collaborate with, or that you are showing the behind the scenes, or that make sure that your podcast is working for your brand too. That it's not just you talking about random things
or that's totally unrelated. Like, yeah, within the content. I think that's a really good idea too. And we also today, after we get off this live, there's going to be our podcast episode for the week is being released. It's the first part of a 3-part series all about branding. So it could be really good, really helpful for you, Anna. And then tomorrow here on our channel, we're releasing those 3 parts in one little mini video, all about 3 key strategies you can put to use to build your podcast brand.
Yes.
So a lot of cool stuff with branding there. Krisha is and I think I'm saying that right. Krisha uses Descript for taking out the ums.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's amazing. And actually does a really good job at it. Yeah. When editing, I only need to go and fix 5% of the ums I took out. So it saves me so much time. Yeah, and that is really good.
Isn't that the beauty of podcasting, that when you start recording a podcast and then you have to listen to it and then you catch all those things that you have to, it's not that you don't like, I'm trying to not use that in my language, but the things that you wish to improve.
It's really cool.
You wish to improve in your speech,
and you get better at public speaking,
and you get better at public speaking.
Yeah, you get more confident.
You get more confident too. And I think Descript is it's a great tool for taking those ums and I have this here comes the negativity. Stop it. But I have this habit that I'm trying to eliminate, that I'm like when Steven is saying something, I'm like
yeah, I do that too. I don't like my the ahas are so like I get really close and like
but the ahas are okay. We're just trying to use them less.
Yeah. And also Veronica likes to like straight put her nose on the microphone and breathe.
I don't do
and she kind of like wicked looks at me while we're podcasting too. Tusher, that's so cool. Tusher just started her podcast and has a bunch of people.
We should just do some clapping, or
I'm gonna get some clapping sounds. We're gonna get so fancy with these live streams, but we're starting.
In the meantime,
simple.
We're doing it all.
We're doing it all.
A la Colombia.
So a lot of really fun stuff. Thank you guys, are so awesome. You're welcome. And then these that you guys are just talking among yourselves. That's great. So that's Descript. Now with Descript, I want to move on to Reaper because I think it's a good place to move. Reaper FM has become my favorite all-around solution for independent podcasters, and I use it every day. I used to just teach it, and we actually have a Reaper for Podcasters course. It's really cool. It's like a 4 hours video course that actually gets you up and running and know how to use Reaper like a professional podcast editor. But now I actually use it every day because it's easier for me to use it on my laptop, and it takes really low CPU power instead of doing everything on my big command station that you see behind us with Pro Tools. So I use Pro Tools like, professionally on clients' projects and on our stuff too. But just for workflow purposes and like to what we do. So when we record our videos,
we have installed in my computer too.
Yeah. And so when we record videos or even podcast episodes, sometimes we just do it on our computer. So when we record videos, we have a camera like this one, and we sit down to record it, and we sync the camera, what's on the camera, with our microphones. Sometimes the microphones, we use our podcast microphones. Other times we have an off-camera microphone pointing at us, but it's going to be a way better sound than the crap microphone that comes on the camera. So we say, take one. And then that clap noise creates a spike in the audio editing software or the video editing software. So you can pull in the audio file and you pull in the video file, you put them on top of each other, and then you can see the waveforms, match up those two spikes together. That makes sense. And then delete the crappy camera audio and replace it with the good audio from Reaper. So now that we have a video editor, which is amazing, and she is amazing, her name's Raluca, and she does an incredible job on our YouTube videos. So she's been doing 90% of our YouTube videos. Sometimes I'll edit them still, which was hard for me to let go of because I love editing videos so much. But now we have to send her audio, and then she needs to like be able to mix in the audio. She'll match the audio with the video, like I just mentioned. But I'm nitpicky, and I like my audio to be clean. I like it to have all these processes on it. So it would take a lot of extra time for me to pull that audio from the laptop where we record it, or from our little sound recorder, put it into my computer, into Pro Tools, and and then in Pro Tools, they make you listen to everything. It's just a very professional way of doing it, but time-consuming way of doing it. And then, so what I've found is Reaper is equally as professional, super fast, will export your audio with all of the new effects that you put on it. And then you can send that off to your editor, or just add that to your video editing, or just be ready with your podcast episode, like boom, boom, and you're done. And the reason I brought Reaper up right after Descript is because Descript is actually compatible with Reaper. So when you're inside Descript and you're editing, you're doing the first stage of editing, which is really the hard part, which is to cut out all the remove any long pauses, things like that. Then when you're done and you want to add all the polish or the beef or the good sounds or the music or any of that stuff, it's going to be easier and more time save more time to do that in a DAW, digital audio workstation, instead of doing it in Descript, at least the way that Descript is now. So you can just say export as a Reaper file, and then you can open up Reaper, and there you have your 2 speakers or your 3 or your 4 speakers separated onto different tracks. All the cuts you made are there. You can adjust the cuts you made. If the uhs or the ums that Descript cut out automatically were too abrupt or too, because it's an artificial intelligence, so sometimes it cuts the breaths out or the ums out too much. You can adjust those in Reaper really easily. And it's just a really cool program. And I was going to show you specifically with this, the next tools that we also use every week go along with Reaper. So I'm going to see if I can open up Reaper and just show you these tools and see if it allows me to open it up and share it with you.
Stay with us.
Stand by. Do you have any standby music? I mean, you have to provide it yourself, because.
On Spanish or English?
I think you can do Spanish would be better, actually, for standby music.
But my voice is so horrendous.
Oh man, I love your.
Never mind. My voice is.
See, she's catching your negative self-talk and improving it with better. So with Reaper FM, if you haven't seen it before, next time I'm sure Veronica is going to be prepared with some hold music or some standby music. So here's Reaper. This is what it looks like. Actually, when you first open it up, I'm just going to delete this track. This is what it looks like. You can set up a track and get ready to record. So if I was here recording, this was my Steve track, and I wanted to add some effects to this real quick. I don't actually need to record to show you the effects. You can click on effects here, and this brings me to the next bit of, let's see, the next tools, which are Waves plugins. So Reaper comes with a bunch of plugins that are great. really cool plugins that come right out of Reaper. And Reaper, by the way, is free for the first 60 days. And then it's a $60 after that. Many people actually use Reaper for
a one-time
$60. That's another reason why it's one of my favorite. Reaper way outperforms Audacity. And there's a little bit of contention that I have between the Audacity users because I just want them to get out of Audacity and into a non-destructive editing program like Reaper. But when you're in Reaper, you can use any plugin from any third-party manufacturer. And Waves is a really professional company that has very affordable plugins that are used in world-class recording studios. They're used by professionals, really good sounding plugins. And in particular, the one that I really love for content creators, you see I'm setting up, and I don't know if it's going to show this window or not. I might have to, is called NS1. It's called the NS1, and I don't know if it's showing it to you guys because it's actually a different window. It's not. Let's see if I can stop sharing and show a different window.
Oh yeah, I was falling asleep.
It's okay. You can fall asleep
on the microphone,
but maybe you could do some music to it as well. Oh, see, so this is a different window in Reaper, but this is actually the effect that I love. It's called the NS1. It's a noise suppressor. This was so well designed because it has de-reverb built into it. It has de-hiss. It recognizes your like computer buzz and different things like that are going on in your room. And all you have to do is turn up a single knob. And usually I'll turn it up like about right here. And it's just beautiful. And if you turn it up too much, it has a gate too. It has a noise gate too, which kind of sucks out the noise. If you turn it up too much, it'll suck out too much noise and it'll sound too gross. But this one thing alone will improve the sound of your podcast like big time because it cuts out the noise. So you can just slap this on each one of your podcast voices. And I think this is like $30 or something for this one effect, or it comes in bundles and things. And then lastly, the last effect that I just have to share because we're here and then I will stop talking so Veronica doesn't fall asleep is the, it's called the 1176, which has always been my favorite compressor from before I even got into digital audio and stuff. And the 1176 is by Universal Audio, but Waves has like a $30, $25 version of it. And let me see if I can share that with you. It looks like this. And this is just a classic, like kind of tube style compressor. So you can see here now I've built these effects on top of each other. So I have the NS1. I usually like to put my noise reduction on first to clean that up. And then I put a compressor on it. And a compressor is going to make our voices sound fat and juicy and delicious.
And just so people understand, like if you would have to do this step without the plugin, like how much time would that?
Oh, well, the noise reduction step without the plugin, there is a plugin in Reaper that does it, but you have to capture room tone first. And then you would spend your own time with an EQ unit trying to like figure out where the noise is on the EQ spectrum. Usually you would cut out a lot of mid-tone stuff. Whereas this actually analyzes to see if it can find little buzzes. And I mean, it's a really intelligent plugin. This one. Reaper also has some built-in compressors that do a pretty good job. I can add one right now. If you just go to, these are the plugins that come with Reaper. In Reaper, you can just filter any of your plugins by typing in stuff. So you can type in comp. And then it has this recomp, which is pretty cool. But it has an says 1175 compressor. So it doesn't look as fancy, but this is kind of the same compressor and it's sort of modeling that 1176 compressor. So you could still use this without spending the money, get familiar with how this works. And then when you have an extra $30 and you want to get that extra little 2% like podcasty beefy sound
and save a lot of time,
then this is a really cool way to do it. Those plugins, by the way, also work with any DAW. They work with Audacity. I think they work with GarageBand even. They work with Pro Tools First. They work with Adobe Audition. So if you purchase those third-party plugins from Waves, you can use them anywhere else. And that NS1 has been my favorite because I also use the Isotope RX7, if you guys are familiar with that at all, for noise reduction, which is what like film creators and television creators use. And podcasters, professional podcast editors use that. And this NS1 is like, with that, you have a lot of other stuff you got to do too. And you got to like separate the noise and find the noise and, all that. But with this, it's just one knob. Woo! And so I knew Veronica would like that.
Yeah.
Because she likes it easy. She just likes to go, woo. So you see, I'm trying to be over animated.
Yeah. Well, and if you're a podcaster, if you're producing a podcast, you know that editing is the most time consuming thing that you are going to do, the most time consuming task that you will perform. So anything that you can do to shorten that time, to make things easier for you, I think you should do it, and I think you should invest in it because it's going to save you time, and time is money.
Yeah, time is money, actually. Absolutely. And on that topic, if you can afford it.
Wait. Could you tell them about your course if they're interested?
Oh, if you're interested, if you want to actually understand all that stuff, I put together this course. It was the idea for it came from a client who actually wanted me to train her in Reaper. And I started putting together a training program for her. I wanted to make it affordable for her. And I started putting this training program together. I'm like, it's going to be thousands of dollars for her. So instead, I'm like, why don't I just put it together in a course format? I can make it super affordable for her and also offer it to everyone else. So it's really cool. And it was actually my third or fourth go around trying to teach Reaper. So it's really concise. There's no BS, and it's specific to podcast editing. If you want to learn more about it, you just go to podcastingsmart.com/R4P, which stands for Reaper for podcasters.
Or after the live stream, we're going to add all those links.
We'll add all those links to the description in this description. So,
but it's funny because Steven created this course for podcasters, but a lot of people in the industry are taking the course to edit podcasts professionally, and to work in the industry. So we didn't think that this little course that we will be training the future podcast editors
and you can actually do that as a job. And that's something that we also is in development. We have all these grand ideas that are in development, but one of them is we want to have a course that teaches people. We want to teach people how you can actually work in the podcast industry. And one of them would be if you want to be a podcast editor. And it's actually a pretty good gig. And you can make pretty good money, especially if you get lightning fast at it. And one way you can get lightning fast at it is with Descript and with Reaper. So just to put that into perspective, I edit podcasts professionally myself, and now we've been able to hire editors that I train for our clients, and then now I don't edit them as much anymore. I'll put together intros and stuff. But when I was doing all of the editing, it was hours and hours, and I became obsessed with how can I cut down 15 minutes? How can I cut down 20 minutes? So I started stopwatching myself, and it was I just like those kind of experiments. And I got so fast. I thought I was the fastest podcast editor while not compromising the best possible quality in the industry. I was like, I'm the best. I'm so fast. But I was still for an hour of footage, it was 2.5 hours, 3 hours to edit.
Yeah.
And then I found Descript. And once I found Descript, I got it to a 1-to-1. An hour of footage, I can create a really high quality podcast episode in 1 hour. And that's because Descript has this other feature I forgot to mention where you can listen in 2 times speed. Now, other DAWs have that feature, but it either puts it into a chipmunk voice or it's just incomprehensible. So you can never actually go as fast as double speed because as you're trying to edit, you can't really get the feeling of the conversation. So you can only go 1.5 times speed.
Yeah.
But with Descript, because you have the script there, you can listen really fast, but you can also see it typed. So it's so cool. And that's amazing because then instead of having to re-listen through the podcast episode for an hour, you only have to listen for half an hour. And really, if you want to professionally edit your podcast episode, and really do it right, you have to listen to the whole thing, which, can be hard, especially. And that's where, yeah, I digress.
And we encourage you to edit your podcast. I know that there's a lot of podcasters who don't do it, but here, we are the Pod Sound School. So the answer that you're going to get from us is yes, you need to edit your podcast because that attaches to the quality of your content.
Yeah.
It was mentioned here on the chat, you can eliminate your ums. You can eliminate all those things on your speech that are redundant, that are annoying, that people can find annoying. And also you can just make your voice sound so crisp and intimate, and add sound effects and add music, and add more to the overall listener's experience, which in return will have a happy listener who will recommend your podcast, who will keep coming back for more. So that's what you're gonna, and we're gonna argue with you that you do need to edit your podcast.
I love what Veronica's saying, because a lot of us, when we think about editing a podcast, we think about the sucky part, which is removing the uhs and ums. And then what we do to avoid that is we get better at our performance, and we do more pre-production. And that's amazing. And that's what you should do. If you don't like editing, do as much pre-production and planning and outlining and practice performing, so that you don't have to, and go live and do your shows live. But even that's just one part of editing. Veronica mentioned the other part, and that's the compression, the EQ, the de-essing, the de-noise, and the gates. Sometimes you use gates too. D-nice? D-nice? Aaron. Anyway, so wow. I didn't think this was just going to be a big Steve tangent about editing, and I hope you guys found that useful. But I said right here that Pat asked what we're using for this live stream. It's Streamyard. We used to use Wirecast for a long time, which is I can't bring that. I even said the word, and she had PTSD because it was crazy. People use it for like sports events and stuff, and it was just too much. Streamyard's been really fun so far, and we're going to continue to share our debacles of live streaming with you.
A lot of people use it for live streams. So we recommend Streamyard.
So it looks like you guys have been asking questions and talking among yourselves. So if you have any questions, make sure to drop them here. And again, we have the super chat open. So if you throw any questions in the super chat, that's going to be we're going to highlight it and really answer the crap out of it. So that's it. And then we have a few more tools, but these aren't going to be big Steve tangent tools.
Okay. What's the next one?
The next one is Audiograms
with Headliner app,
Descript, or Buzzsprout. And actually a lot of other podcast hosts will also make automatic audiograms. Headliner just announced 3 days ago that they have this new integration that will automatically publish audiogram full episode versions of your podcast to YouTube. So integrate, so you don't even have to do anything. So when you publish your podcast episode, it will go to YouTube automatically with an audiogram. Now, audiograms on YouTube, we typically think that they aren't going to promote the fastest growth on YouTube. But it's still good to have it there. And more and more people are really going to YouTube to actually just listen to podcasts. So it's not the worst strategy in the world. And if it's automatic, you may as well just do it, and you can keep it on a playlist. That way, if you start making one-off videos on YouTube, just topical videos, or if you live stream on YouTube, you also on YouTube have the place where you can say, hey, and you can check out our podcast right here on YouTube. You don't even have to leave YouTube. YouTube loves that kind of stuff. So headliner.app, it's free. You can do, I think, 10 audiograms a month for free. Then after that, it's like $14 a month, like everything else. $15 a month. It seems like everything is right now. But it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
And you've been using Buzzsprout to do it lately as well.
I've been using Buzzsprout. I really like that built-in feature that comes with Buzzsprout. And it just makes it, I think the technology has improved, because I remember when we started our podcast, the audiograms that we were able to make with Simplecast and other podcast hosts, they were not very attractive. They were like kind of clunky, and they were ugly as if.
Yeah. What solutions are you guys using for audiograms?
Yeah.
What kind of visual graphics are you posting?
I have a few tips for your audiograms.
Okay, I love it.
It's always try to introduce colors of your brand colors into the audiogram design, so people know that it's you. You don't have to show your face, or you don't have to use pictures of you every time. You can use quotes from the episode that you think that will catch the people's attention, that will spark curiosity, and that would inspire somebody to take action and to go and listen to your podcast. So that part of the episode where they're talking about the sussy stuff, the sus, then just add it there.
No.
The sus.
You can tell we have 12-year-olds, right? It's
We do.
Gen Z.
We have kids.
We're doing the Gen Z lingo here.
We have kids. They eat a lot.
They do eat a lot. They're little monsters. So I love that. And you know how we talked about cascades or carousel? That's also a really good place to throw an audiogram in. And in your Instagram strategy, you can have an audiogram as one of those things, and you make it an MP4 video. And one way you can make really cool audiograms and MP4 videos and stuff is on Canva. And Canva is like the go-to. That's if you had to choose one of these tools, like you could only use one of these.
I think it would be Descript.
I mean, you have to edit your podcast.
It would be Descript.
It probably would be Descript, but Canva would be really close.
Canva, yeah.
Because Canva, you can edit videos. You can make a lot of video stuff. Canva Pro comes with a ton of royalty stock footage, which stock footage, if you use it right, it doesn't always come off as like corny, and it can actually come off looking pretty nice. And then really good solutions if you don't want to show your face. There's many podcasters who don't want to show their face, so you can still make really compelling on-brand visual graphics using Canva, and you can repurpose them into any kind of design. And Canva's, just like Descript, is constantly making updates. So we're affiliates with both Canva and Descript, so we'll leave our affiliate links to them right where if you're catching this replay, or afterwards we'll drop the links to those. And
if you don't know how affiliate links work, well, every time you sign up for those services using our link, we get a little commission. We get a little commission,
And if you don't know how affiliates work,
straight to
either
our kids' stomachs.
Yes, and if you can start looking into ways you can get your own affiliates, because it's just pennies at first, but then you have different income streams coming in.
Oh yeah, that's another way that you can start monetizing.
And there's a lot of programs and companies and things out there that have affiliations and have affiliate marketing available for you, and you don't have to have a huge following.
Yeah.
So that's something that's look into that. Amazon Associates is the perfect example of that. Whether you like Jeff Bezos or not. Okay, and then finally, just Buzzsprout has really kind of become my favorite. For me right now, it's between Anchor and Buzzsprout as far as podcast hosts, which sucks because all the podcast hosting companies are so cool, and they're also great. Now, the one I haven't tried out is Captivate Audio. I haven't even tried it. None of our clients have used it, so I haven't been able to get in there and try it. But it seems really cool, and they have a lot of really cool features too. Simplecast we've tried. We like Simplecast a lot too.
We like Simplecast. It's just
it's more for the networks.
It's more for the networks.
If you want to start a podcast collective, like let's say you have a sports podcast, and then you have a bunch of other people that are sports podcasters, and each of you only get 1,000 downloads per episode, or maybe 500 downloads per episode, which is a lot more feasible than getting 50 downloads per episode. Well, all of you can come together so that collectively you get 50,000 downloads per episode, and you can start a podcast collective or a podcast network. And then you can actually advertise on all of your podcasts, the same advertisements, and split the money up. A lot of podcasters are doing that, starting collectives and networks. It's a way that we can stand up to these giants, corporate giants that are getting into podcasting. So Buzzsprout dynamic content is the big tool that Buzzsprout has that Anchor doesn't have.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole reason we switched to Buzzsprout.
It is the whole reason we really switched to Buzzsprout over Simplecast, is for that dynamic content. And what that means is you can insert, right now it's just for either an intro or an outro on your episodes. You can dynamically insert little recording pieces in and out. So you can have unique intros and outros. So let's say you have a new product or a new affiliation, or let's say you actually, with your 200 downloads that you get per episode, that's a lot. And you have a very niched audience. You have an audience about all around the topic of your show. You can approach companies, and you can say, hey, would you like to advertise on my podcast? And then you can actually, I'll give you a pre-roll. They call it a pre-roll, a mid-roll, or a post-roll, which is either at the beginning, in the middle, or the end of your podcast episode. You drop a little ad in there, and you can say, I'll give it, every one of my episodes will have your advertisement on it for 1 month, and I'll charge you $500. And, and they'll be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for people to send you the email for brands to reach out to you, or just a way that somebody's going to come and knock on your door. No, take initiative and go and seek out those opportunities. And the good thing about this feature is that you can, once they have they're done paying you or the campaign is over, then you can remove the dynamic content from all of your episodes and replace that content with new content.
Yeah.
Which is very good for seasonal stuff. If you, for example, have events, or if you're promoting one of your services or products for a certain season, for Black Friday, for Christmas, now it's coming, then you can record that content and add it as a dynamic content, so it's throughout your episodes. And then when the season is over, then you just remove it and replace it with something else. It doesn't have to stay in every
it doesn't have to stay in every episode.
Stay in every episode, and then you have that debacle that people are reaching out to you. Hey, do you still are you still offering that product, or are you still offering that service? Or sometimes you're listening to an episode and like, oh, and next Friday is Black Friday, and you're listening to the episode in January.
Yeah.
So that's why this feature is so cool.
Yeah, and there's just unlimited ideas you could use it for. Another one, back to that podcast collective, or even just to join a community of podcasters. If you were all happen to be on Buzzsprout, you could shout out, do promo swaps with other podcasters. And at the end roll, the post roll, you don't even have to do it at the first of the post roll. You just say they can record a little promo for you and send it to you, and you let them advertise their podcast on your podcast in exchange for you doing it for them. So that's what I love about Buzzsprout, is they really are all about the indies. And so all the features that they create are features that their podcasters ask for and really are going to use. And so right now they're my two favorite hosts, but that changes because the industry changes a lot. And the way that compares to Anchor doesn't have it to where you can actually control where or how you place your own dynamic content.
But you can do your own dynamic content?
I think you can do your own Anchor ad that you put in there, but it has to be an Anchor read ad. I think there might be ways that you can hack it. I don't know. It's confusing, but what they do have is they have a way that other people can advertise on your show right off the bat. And what it's going toward is kind of what YouTube is, where you can have, like with our YouTube channel, once you get past 1,000 subscribers, you can start showing ads at the front of your video. And we're all just used to that. And eventually podcast listeners are just going to get used to that. It's been fun all these years to have podcasting not be over cluttered with ads, except for the ones that are on big networks. But I think moving forward, we're going to start hearing ads on all of our podcasts, because they're just going to come. I mean, if you think about it from those big corporation standpoint, they can really target very specific audiences, right? So anyway, this is it's a cool thing to check out. You might want to check out Buzzsprout if you haven't yet. They have other cool features. We're also Buzzsprout affiliates too, and we love Buzzsprout. We've met the Buzzsprout team and really cool people. Everybody in the podcasting industry is just so genuinely cool.
And we're getting to the end of this live stream.
Do you have any last questions? But how do you get your projects to not say untitled project? I'm not sure. I'll look into that. I know there's a way.
If there's a will, there's a way.
I used Streamyard yesterday, and it was so awesome. I wasted so much time learning OBS. Had I known about Streamyard. Yeah, OBS is pretty intimidating. Streamyard's really cool. We're also Streamyard affiliates. So we'll leave the Streamyard affiliation link. If you guys are going to sign up for any of the services, please do us a favor and hit our affiliate link to sign up with it, and we get some pennies, which is really nice. Awesome. So I love that y'all are. It's Krisa. It's Krisa, but that's okay. It's Krisa. Okay, cool.
Did you mispronounce her?
Yeah, we're so good. No, I'm pretty sure it was me.
I always do that. I apologize, honey.
Cool. Well, I actually had the privilege of talking with Soul Toucha the other day. We're doing a project right now, this huge project. We're interviewing podcasters, and I think I just had my last interview, a few more interviews maybe, and a bunch of different podcasters. We're all talking about podcasters' lifestyle. And Soul Toucha has really cool. They go live. Their podcast is really cool. You guys should check it out for sure. And then, if there's anything else, this was super fun.
Yeah.
We're going to be back next Saturday. If you have any ideas for things you're struggling with, like what would you like to hear us talk about? What do you have questions about? If those ideas come to you throughout the week, you can comment here on YouTube. You can find Veronica on Instagram at Pod Sound School, and you can find me on Twitter. Our DMs there are pretty good ways of getting a hold of us.
Yeah, definitely.
I get a lot less DMs than I do emails. Mm-hmm. So, and during my potty breaks, which I think is when most people are on Twitter, you can find me. So it's a very intimate moment.
That's why they're very long.
It's true. There's a long period of the day. I would say like 8% of my day is spent in the bathroom. So mm-hmm. I'm on Twitter 8% of my day. So you can hit me up there. TMI for you guys there. But I've been wanting to put out a tweet for a long time asking people, hey, are you in the bathroom right now? Maybe I'll put that out. But this was really fun, you guys.
Yes.
And he just says, talk about switching podcast host. That's something that's a big thing to talk about. We could that might be something we could cover because it's a pretty big topic. Mm-hmm. There's some fears that go along with it. There's some problems that happen. For example, right now, if you search Pod Sound School or search Pod Sound School podcast on Google, our old Simplecast thing is still very high up there. And it says Pod Sound School podcast.simplecast, and you click on it and it doesn't go anywhere because we don't exist on Simplecast anymore. So it takes some time to refresh things. And the only real thing that happens, you won't lose your Apple subscribers because they pretty much got a hold of the whole RSS link and podcast hosting switching that goes on because everybody does that. It happens a ton. People are always switching their podcast hosts. What you lose are your links. So if you have your podcast embedded somewhere, or if you have links on social media that link to your podcast episode or things that you wind up losing, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But anyway,
great.
Anything else?
We have another question.
Oh,
do you recommend using a USB Lightning adapter to podcast to GarageBand using a USB microphone? And then he says on
a phone,
on an iPhone.
Yeah, definitely. I would using the GarageBand on an iPhone. That's really cool. And that's something we've been thinking about making videos with too, is different microphones you could plug into your phone. So
GarageBand is an application too for a...
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive application actually on the phone. There's so many cool audio recording apps on the phone. Mm-hmm. My problem with them is my fingers are so big and weird, and I just can't. I need more space. But other than that, you can do a lot of really cool things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely try that out. The Lightning adapters, sometimes the cheap ones don't sound very good or they don't even work. But we got a cheap one that worked pretty well, and you can use a USB microphone, and it works great. What I like about that is then you don't have to hold your phone, and then you can also maneuver your phone, and you can check your levels, and your phone can be sitting on the desk, and then you can get a stand for your USB microphone. It just seems a little more podcasty, and you wind up getting a better sound. I have noticed, however, that there is they call it signal to noise ratio. When it comes to, it's just something that we talk about, how much of my voice is coming through and how much noise is coming through. Mm-hmm. With those USB adapters, I don't know why, but I noticed an amplified noise. So sometimes I would just opt in to not even use the thing and just use the phone if you're just going to be recording into your phone. But you'll have to experiment with it. Mm-hmm. Is the answer to that question.
So we have another question. Hey, how different is a podcast deal to an artist deal?
That's interesting. It's quite a bit different, but not really. I mean, it's basically the same. It just has to do with who owns the rights to the content. And
so that's a confused. I'm not understanding the question.
Well, with an artist deal, are you talking about a musical artist? I'm guessing.
So a deal is like signing a contract, or
being represented. So an artist deal would be like Sony Records signing you to a record contract.
Okay.
Or a movie deal. Okay. Or so with when you get picked up by a big network or they approach you, let's it's
so how is it different? That's the question. I'm trying to think how to answer it because I think it's a very interesting question. And we were talking about it the other day. Like, there's not really much difference between being an artist and being a podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
And what you really want is, if you don't have, how can I say this? Yeah, if you don't have the big budget, if you don't have the connections, if you don't have the beam, the backing up of those resources, then your best bet is to put yourself out there in front of as many people as you can with your podcast, with your music, or with your art.
Mm-hmm.
And both things, it will take you longer than if you would have the connections and the budget and all that, but it's achievable. And there are a lot of artists and authors and creators that use podcasting as a way to put themselves out there
Mm-hmm.
and to get deals. And it's kind of like what I was saying yesterday, is like your resume.
Mm-hmm.
You have this thing that it's in a digital form, that it shows your personality, your talents, what you're capable of, all of the things that you want to highlight on your podcast or your YouTube channel. People use YouTube a lot for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think if I'm deviating from what.
No, but I love what you're saying, because I mean, as far as the deal goes, like you're talking about like contracts and like production companies approaching you, maybe, and then you're, how can it used to be in the music industry, you would like send your demo reel in to these music production companies, and that's like what you're supposed to do as an artist. Well, so that's changed in the music industry too. And the music industry, like Veronica's saying, is similar now to the podcasting industry as far as this open space of content creation. And now, like, your best bet, if you wanted to make it as like a hip hop artist, for example, get onto TikTok, and it's funny because we want
get on TikTok, get on Facebook. Is the quality content, the quality of what you do, and to put that content in front of as many people as you want, and use those platforms out there that are for free, with algorithms that can help you push your content and in front of other people.
And then you may find that you don't even need a deal, and that you can become your own production company, which is even better, because then nobody's skimming money off of the top of your talent. But really, if you back up what Veronica said about quality, that's so important. And you can really break quality down into so many different meanings, but we all want the money. How do we make money? Podcasting is the most searched thing on Google around the term podcast. We all want the deal. We all want the validation. And we all think maybe there's a quick tip or a quick hack to get there, when what's going to get us there is quality content, and spending the time to do your research and to make really good quality content. Invest in good equipment. Start with what you have. Definitely practice, get better at your performance, but then get some good equipment. Make sure that you have nice, flattering lighting in your videos. And then also, pre-production, like crazy. Like, plan out your stuff, script your stuff, and constantly be doing market research, survey your audience, and always try to get better at what you do. And then finally, one of the themes that was coming up in a lot of the interviews that I had and chats that I had with podcasters, and we were talking about this yesterday as well too, is get out of your head and into your heart. Was kind of how we put it yesterday after a lot of interviews. And it's a lot of times we're trying to people please. We're thinking so much about, we're being perfectionists about our content. Like, do I have the right intro on there? Do I have this on there or not? And we're so caught up in our heads that it actually keeps us from taking action, keeps us from making that quality content. Our heart knows what to do. We got into podcasting because of our heart. We make music because of our heart, right? Like, we know where we're supposed to go. The brain up here is just for the little things. Like, this is just so that we can do what the heart wants to do. I don't know why we have this brain, because it just gets in the way.
And like how my Peloton instructor said the other day, is know your worth and add some tags to it.
Yes.
So if you see
that's
that
Alex Toussaint.
Alex Toussaint. So he said, as an artist, you get a 360 deal where they own your image right to your name, even your voice in some cases.
Okay. So this is very negotiable between podcast deals, but it's lots of variations. So yeah, and we all are very familiar with the artist formerly known as Prince, right? And that had to do with they owned the name Prince. So it can be to that degree in podcasting, absolutely, and it is.
Spotify
owns.
It was like a year ago or 2 years ago that they bought
the exclusivity to Joe Rogan. For like $50 million or something.
But once again, like he has millions and millions of people tuning into each one of his episodes.
But actually I think you'll find, because a lot of the deals that are being negotiated in podcasting, it's like the Wild West right now. You have a lot of negotiating power, and the best thing you could do to give yourself more negotiating power, and the same goes for music, is to build your own audience, and that's and craft better content and keep crafting better content. It's hard to think that, just by making better content, more people are going to discover me. Yes, they will, because
they will recommend you.
They will recommend you, and word of mouth is still like the king kind of all of this stuff, because it's word of mouth is even more what it was before the times of the internet, because now people word of mouth you over the internet like crazy. So
they cancel you.
It's cool. You can get investments. So she would
gracias de nada.
I follow a girl that her podcast is not so professional and has 1,000 followers. Super annoying, but her content is great.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah.
And Anna was saying that she listens to our live stream when she's cleaning.
She's cleaning, I know. I love it.
Love it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I listen to a lot of things when I'm cleaning too. That's how.
You're welcome, MB Bryce, Bryce.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your art, your music.
Yes, we'd love to hear it.
Are you getting into podcasting? Do you incorporate your music into your show? Really cool stuff. Drop some comments here. We're 16 minutes over. We try to keep this at an hour.
This has been so much fun. And thank you so much for showing up.
This is kind of becoming the highlight of our week. So we really look forward to these. We get a little loose, just talk and try to answer your guys' questions. So really appreciate you showing up and spending Saturday. Have a really good Saturday night. Good luck with all of your content creation endeavors.